everyone, this is Georgia with Georgia's Crafty Creations, and today we're going to be doing a video as part of the guest design team for May Made It. And I thought I'd take a change from making a card and do an altered journal. Now I got these journals at a store in Ohio for $1, and they just say order on the front, and I thought it would be nice to cover them to put in a gift bag or give to somebody for Mother's Day or Easter. So that's the journal we're going to use, but you could use any journal you find that you want to decorate. Dollar Tree has some journals, and this one's a 6x9, but you can do this with any size journal. But I'm just going to show you how I did mine. Now I made two samples. The first one was using the paper collection Simple Stories, the romance collection, and I'll leave a link to the supplies down below. And then I made a sample using the Bow Bunny paper, and this is the one called Faith. I made a sample using that, but we're going to use the romance collection today. Now I also did a ribbon around so this could be tied shut, but I just really like how it turned out. It dressed up a dollar journal into something really pretty that you can give as a gift. So let's get started. You already know the paper we're going to use. The stamp set we're going to be using is called Be Still. We're going to be using The Lord is My Strength and My Song. Then you're going to need a piece of copy paper. Now this one I'm using, got to grab my journal. My journal is 6x9. So I'm going to have a piece of 6x9 copy paper to build on, and the reason I did that is the ribbons that I have around here, I did not want them coming to the inside of my journal. So I built on a piece of white copy paper, and then we're going to layer it onto the journal. So we have the 6x9 piece of copy paper. Then we have a 6x6 paper that we're going to be putting like right in the middle. So you need a 6x6, and this is also a good way to use if you have 6x6 paper pads. It's nice to use them. And then I have two strips cut at 1.5x6, which is going to be our upper and lower part. And then we're going to be using double-sided tape because I really want this to stick well. So the first thing you're going to do is just start with one of your smaller pieces, and you're going to put double-sided tape on it. And actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and get double-sided tape put on both of my small pieces and my 6x6 piece. So we're going to do that really quick. Okay, we're going to set our tape aside for a minute. And then, like I said, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take one of your 1.5x6 strips. And you're going to put it onto your bit larger piece just up at the very edge of it. And then once you layer that one on, you're going to take your 6x6 piece and do the same thing. And you're going to want to make sure if your paper has a pattern you want a certain way, like mine has the words here, I want those to be facing the right way. Now you could also do this journal and do it so that it's in landscape orientation, but I want to do this one in portrait. And once you get these three pieces on, and you just layer these down, and you can see I kind of got a little edge here, but we can always trim that off. It's not a big deal, which I'll trim that up before we put our ribbon on. So it doesn't have to be exact. You can actually, I'm just going to take a pair of scissors and trim that up a little bit. because I don't really want that white showing outside. There we go. And the next thing we're going to do is I have some pink ribbon that I haven't opened yet. And I'm just going to cut 2 pieces of ribbon a little bit wider than my cover here. I'm going to keep that out because we'll need it. Then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put a piece of double-sided tape on the backs of these. And then we're just going to take our ribbon and we're going to cover up the little seams of where the papers meet. And you can do it a little below, a little above it, but I like to just go right over it. Put that one there. The one at the top. And then I'm just going to flip that over and pull these to the back. Now the last thing you're going to want to do before you put this on your journal is the journals I bought have like a score mark here where the journal opens up and it's at 1/4 inch. So at the top of my cover, I'm going to go ahead and score this just at the 1/4 inch mark. Just so it will help it fold a little bit when it's opened up. And I'm going to give it a little bend there just to get it started. And then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put 2 pieces of double-sided tape at the top. I'm going to put one where it's going to be on where it folds and then one right below it. Again, the double-sided tape just helps it stick really well. You could use glue, but on this project I just like double-sided tape better. So I'm going to put one above the crease and one right below it. And then just one on all 3 sides again. Okay. So then what I'm going to do with this, because I want to make sure I have this exactly where I want it on my journal before I peel all of my tape off, I'm just going to peel about 2 to 3 inches down and just fold it so that I can get it in place before I press all of these down permanently. And I'm going to do it with the top ones too, just the top one. The lower one we're going to go ahead and peel all the way off. Okay, then we're ready to put it onto our journal. And I'm going to make sure which side that I did the score mark on. Get it lined up at my top. My sides. Got that one over just a little bit. If it's just a little tape you're peeling up, it'll come up a little easier than if you have to peel all of it up. Come over to this side. That looks good right there. So we're going to go ahead and peel our tape off. And my two side ones folded back in, but that's not a problem. We can go ahead and just take that one and go ahead and get the side one. Because these two sides are in place already, we can just go and put it down. And then when you open it up, you can kind of crease it a little bit. And I'm going to show you when I open this up, I'm a little below the line. You can either leave that or cut it off. I'm going to just leave it because it doesn't really bother me. And then we're going to get a piece of ribbon to put around the front. And I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to put a piece of double-sided tape just right down where I want my ribbon. Peel that off. Then I'm just going to find where the middle of my ribbon is so I can kind of gauge where I want it on my back. And then I'm just going to take my ribbon on the back, lay it down, flip it over, and then we can tie it. And once you tie it, you can trim off the ends as to the length you want it. And I tied it upside down so my bow's kind of... I'm going to turn this around to tie my bow. And then I'm just going to trim my ribbon off kind of toward the sides of the journal. So there we have the cover, and now we're going to make our sentiment to go on the front of it. So I have some scrap paper that I saved, and I'm going to grab my Misty, because I like to stamp this before I cut it, just since it's a small stamp. But I'm going to kind of just cut a piece of the scrap, and then just set it into my Misty. And I want to make sure I get this straight, so we're going with the bottom because this is crooked over here. I'm going to lay my magnet on and grab my sentiment. And I want to cut this as little as possible, so I'm going to bring it to the side over here to where all I have to do is cut two sides, because this side is cut pretty straight. And the ink I'm just using Nuvo Hybrid ink. I really like this ink. It does a really good stamp almost every time I use it. There we go. And I'll clean that off in a minute. Grab that. And then we're just going to trim this down. And I usually will line the top of my words up with this little inner plastic of my cutter. And then I'm just going to take that and I'm going to put a little bit of double-sided tape on the back of it with my tape runner. I'm going to grab a little piece of the pattern paper. And then we're just going to lather that right onto the paper. Looks good. And then again, I'm just going to trim up the sides of it. Just eyeballing it for my border there. There we go. And then I'm going to grab some foam squares, which you can get these at May Made It also. I'll put the link for that below. We're just going to put one at each corner and then one in the center. peel those off. And then you just have to decide where you want your sentiment. And since I have the roses up on the top, on this one I'm going to probably put it toward the bottom. But you can put it at the top, middle. It's really your judgment, wherever you want it. And I think I want this one over the ribbon, but up a little bit. So, there you have it. A quick and easy way to cover an inexpensive journal, to just pretty it up to give as a gift. I mean, you could also add flowers on. You could embellish it a lot more, but I just wanted to do something simple. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe below. I will put a link for the paper and the other supplies so that you can find them. But just try different things. If you find a journal odd size, cover it. Make it pretty. So have a great day, everybody. Happy crafting!